Brenda Lee was one of the biggest voices in music history, yet behind the glittering success, chart-topping records, and worldwide fame was a love story that almost no one believed would last. While countless celebrity marriages collapsed under the pressure of fame, Brenda Lee and her husband quietly built one of the strongest relationships in the entertainment industry. But getting there was far from easy. Their marriage faced skepticism, distance, overwhelming fame, and heartbreaking personal struggles. This is the dramatic story of how one young singer found the love that would stand beside her for decades. By the time Brenda Lee was a teenager, she was already a sensation. Nicknamed Little Miss Dynamite because of her powerful voice despite her small stature, she dominated the music charts during the late 1950s and early 1960s. Songs like I'm Sorry, Sweet Nothin's, and later the timeless holiday classic Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree made her a household name. Fans adored her, record labels competed for her attention, and she spent much of her youth traveling from one concert to another. But fame came with a price. Brenda's childhood was far from ordinary. She had grown up in a poor family, losing her father at a young age. Music became both her escape and her family's lifeline. Long before she was old enough to understand adulthood, she was carrying enormous responsibilities. Success gave her financial security, but it also meant sacrificing a normal teenage life. Then, in 1962, everything changed. While performing at a concert, Brenda met a young man named Ronnie Shacklet. Unlike the musicians, promoters, and executives surrounding her, Ronnie lived a much quieter life. He wasn't interested in chasing fame or becoming a celebrity himself. At first glance, the two seemed like complete opposites. Yet something clicked almost instantly. Friends later recalled that Brenda and Ronnie formed a genuine connection built on trust rather than glamour. Ronnie admired Brenda as a person, not just as a famous singer. For Brenda, who had spent years wondering whether people loved her or simply loved her success, that difference meant everything. Their romance moved surprisingly fast. Only 6 months after meeting, Brenda and Ronnie decided to get married. Brenda was just 18 years old. Many people thought they were making a terrible mistake. The entertainment industry had seen countless whirlwind romances end in disaster. Critics predicted the marriage would collapse within a few years. Some believed Brenda was too young. Others insisted that a non-stop touring career would make family life impossible. Even people close to the couple quietly questioned whether Ronnie could handle being married to one of America's biggest stars. But the newlyweds ignored the doubts. Instead of allowing fame to define their relationship, they created clear boundaries. Ronnie never tried to compete with Brenda's career. He stayed largely out of the spotlight, providing stability while Brenda continued recording and touring around the world. That balance proved crucial. As Brenda's career expanded internationally, she often spent weeks or even months away from home. Long separations tested the marriage. During an era without smartphones, video calls, or instant messaging, staying emotionally connected required genuine commitment. Many celebrity couples drifted apart under those circumstances. Brenda and Ronnie chose a different path. Whenever possible, family came before career decisions. Ronnie remained a constant source of encouragement rather than pressure. Brenda often described him as her greatest supporter, someone who kept her grounded whenever the demands of fame became overwhelming. Their greatest joy arrived with the birth of their daughters, Jolie and Julie. Motherhood transformed Brenda's priorities. Although she continued making music, she became increasingly determined to protect her children from the intense spotlight she had experienced growing up. Home became her sanctuary rather than another stage. Still, life wasn't free of heartbreak. The music industry changed dramatically during the late 1960s and 1970s. New styles emerged, and many early rock and roll stars struggled to remain commercially successful. Brenda's chart dominance faded, forcing her to reinvent herself as a country artist. Career uncertainty can place enormous stress on any marriage. Yet Ronnie remained by her side through every professional setback. Instead of measuring success by record sales or awards, they focused on building a stable family life. While many celebrity couples allowed career disappointments to create conflict, Brenda and Ronnie faced challenges together. Health problems presented another difficult chapter. Over the years, Brenda dealt with vocal issues and other medical concerns that threatened her ability to perform. For someone whose identity had always been connected to singing, these moments were emotionally devastating. Once again, Ronnie became her strongest source of support. Rather than pushing her to keep working, he encouraged her to prioritize her health and well-being. His quiet presence gave Brenda the confidence to continue even when the future felt uncertain. As the decades passed, something remarkable happened. The marriage that critics expected to fail became one of the longest-lasting unions in the entertainment world. While headlines constantly focused on celebrity divorces and scandals, Brenda and Ronnie rarely appeared in gossip columns. They avoided unnecessary publicity, choosing privacy over attention. Their relationship became proof that lasting love doesn't always require grand public gestures. Sometimes it survives because two people consistently choose each other every single day. In later interviews, Brenda often spoke warmly about Ronnie, crediting him for helping her stay grounded throughout an extraordinary career. She admitted that fame can be incredibly lonely, but having someone who loved her beyond the applause made all the difference. Today, Brenda Lee's musical legacy continues to inspire generations. Her recordings remain timeless, introducing new listeners to one of the greatest voices in American music. But beyond the awards, the hit songs, and the legendary performances stands another achievement that may be even more remarkable. Against all expectations, she built a marriage that endured the pressures of fame, changing careers, personal struggles, and the passage of time. In an industry where lasting relationships often seem impossible, Brenda Lee and Ronnie Shacklet quietly wrote a different story. One built not on headlines or glamour, but on loyalty, patience, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment. Their dramatic journey reminds us that true love isn't measured by how spectacular the beginning is, but by the strength to weather every storm together, proving that sometimes the greatest success in a superstar's life isn't found on stage, but in the quiet moments shared with the person who never stopped believing in them.